So World War One's over, right? But we do need to take a little bit of a detour before moving on to the 1930s and, of course, World War II and deal with Russia. Because Russia pulled out of World War One early, before anybody else. World War One ends in 1918, but see, Russia in 1917 is like, see ya. There's a reason. Russia is going to go through their own revolution right in the middle of World War One, and it's not a little revolution; it's a massive revolution. It's the communist revolution. Oh my gosh! Okay, they actually don't just have one revolution; they actually have two. There's one in March, and then the communist revolution is like October or November, something like that. So Russia's not doing well. Okay, that being said, this right here is the king of Russia at this point. His name is Tsar Nicholas II. You remember the word Tsar? Czar. Again, in America, you always hear people say Czar, but it's a TS sound. Tsar. Okay. Tsar means emperor. Remember? Okay. So anyway, Tsar Nicholas II. I personally feel sorry for Tsar Nicholas II because I like him. I know that's not a popular historical opinion. I like him. Um, but his decisions in the whole World War One thing sucked. It's like I don't know. He just wasn't doing well in World War One. That being said, Tsar Nicholas II, King of Russia at this point, has a pretty big family. Oh man, there they are. Here's his family. Okay, so you have Tsar Nicholas II right here. Okay, you have the Tsarina, the queen, the empress, Alexandra. Yeah, and she, I don't remember how, is like a granddaughter or a niece or a cousin. She's a something. She's somehow related to the whole Queen Victoria, English kings and queens. I don't know. Somehow they're related. So anyway, we have all of these beautiful little girls. One, two, three. That's an important one. Four, and then we have the youngest child, Alexei. Kids are always like, oh, Alexei. It would be Alex in Russian. Okay. Um, my brain just totally went to Alexei's drama. We're not going to deal with that. He had some medical issues. I'm sorry, my brain went there. So he has a pretty big family. Yeah. And things are going okay until the war starts. Whenever the war starts, Tsar Nicholas, goes in, I don't know, guns a blazing. And he actually goes and he's like, not physically fighting, but he's actually there, not like sitting in his palace doing his thing. But his decisions are just terrible. When it is obvious that Russia is not technologically advanced enough to fight Germany, he still continues fighting with the same old stuff. So, as you saw yesterday, the casualties for Russia are just through the roof. And again, I like Tsar Nicholas, so it's hard for me to be like, what's wrong with you? Like looking at him, like, what's wrong with your decisions? But his decisions were just, oh, at this point. So he's just not doing well. He's making every wrong war decision possible. And then in March of 1917, there's a revolution. Um, there's a whole lot of Russians who don't want to be fighting this war because they're getting slaughtered. They want Nicholas to leave the war to pull out of the war. Okay. Of course, Nicholas won't. But he also has a lot of pressure from his nobles and from the military. You can't pull out of a war. Like, there's nothing that looks more weenie than that, right? So anyway, he's feeling pressure from both sides. Regardless, we have the March Revolution. This is not the Communist Revolution, but people always lump them together. Anyway, the March Revolution, they walk into the palace, they take the family, they put them in a room, they like basically house arrest them, and they create a new government, right? Except they still continue fighting World War One, which isn't really what people wanted. Most people in Russia wanted to be out of the war. Well, the new government that just overtook them is still fighting World War One. Well, that's stupid. That matters. Keep it in mind. But the family, the royal family, is put, like I said, under house arrest. They're like in a basement or something. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, they're under house arrest for for a long time, several months. And then one day, the door opens. Men come down. They line them up against the wall, and they just start shooting them. They just kill them all. That's the end of the Tsars in Russia. That's it. Done. They take their bodies, they throw them in a big mass grave outside of the Winter Palace, and they're like, done. But still, they still didn't fight or stop fighting World War One. So as a result, we are going to have the communist revolution coming. And like I said, it's like November or October, but I can't remember exactly. So that was in March. Okay. Let's talk for a second about them. Look at this woman. This was her as a young woman. This was her as an old little lady. Yeah. Her name is Anna. I don't remember her last name. In like the 1980s, so like I was a little kid, okay? In like the 1980s, Anna is getting old and she's like, by the way, she's in New York City. I should tell you that. She's in New York. She's a Russian immigrant and she's in New York. She starts getting old and she's like, y'all, I gotta tell you something. I need to tell people the truth before I die. My name is not really Anna. My name is really Anastasia. Okay, stop right there. Remember when we talked about Anastasia Ivan the Fourth's wife? And I told you there was another Anastasia coming. This is her. If you have seen the little cartoon movie with Rasputin and the bat, and they destroy her name by saying Anastasia instead of Anastasia. Yes, it's supposed to be this story, but please understand that little cartoon is not true. Okay? This is Anastasia right here. All right? Um, Anna, New York Anna, Russian immigrant, came over right about the right time to be Anastasia, says, I have to let everybody know that I'm actually Anastasia, the little, what is it, princess of Russia. I was able to get away whenever they were like shooting everybody. One of the guards, he helped me or whatever, and I was able to get away. I eventually came to America and I got a new name and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's a big deal. That's huge. Everybody thought she was Anastasia. Do I have another picture? I thought I did. There she is as a young girl. And then here she is again as a young woman. You can see same woman right here as right here. And then again, that's her old. So she said, look, I am this girl. People believed her. But there were some people that didn't believe her. And people were like, well, what's the truth? Well, she died. Fast forward. Once DNA testing became a thing, which is really recent, historically speaking, somehow DNA testing was done, okay, to the Romanov family. Guess what? Oh, I forgot to tell you something. The reason DNA testing was done, I'm so sorry. There was an archaeological excavation next to the Winter Palace. And guess what they found next to the Winter Palace? A big, giant, whatever, of bones that were laid like this. There's a lot of bodies here. Yeah? Well, eventually, people went, wait a minute. Everybody said that they dumped the Tsar's body in a big mass grave with his whole family right next to the Winter Palace. Could this be them? Here's the problem. They found the right number of bones for the whole family. Well, if there's the right number of bones for the whole family, then is she Anastasia? It's possible, right? That's why they did the DNA testing. I'm sorry. They exhumed or whatever and did DNA testing. That being said, sweet little old lady, she's a liar. She had no DNA in common with the Romanovs. You guys, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry. She had no DNA in common with Anastasia, the real Anastasia. None. Why was she lying? I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. But regardless, that whole drama was taken care of. So oh, that's her name, Anderson. Anna Anderson, Anna Anderson, however you want to say it. That's it. It just popped in my head. She was not Anastasia. Why'd she lie? I don't know. Crazy? Want notoriety? I don't know. However, oh, here are their bones laid out before they were buried. This is what I wanted to show you. We have a guy. This guy's name is Vladimir Lenin. We call him V.I. Lenin. V.I. Lenin. Okay. V.I. Lenin, before World War I, wanted to change the government of Russia. He was part of a group that was very kind of anti the government. He didn't like the monarchy. He wanted all kinds of good stuff, communism, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And he was so like vocal about the government that he actually kind of got exiled. He got kicked out. He had been living in, I think, in Germany. But anyway, during World War I, he goes back to Russia. After the March Revolution, where, Tsar Nicholas and his family were killed, he and his people overthrew the new weak government. His people are called the Bolshevik. Bolshevik. Kids are always like, what'd you say? Did you just cuss? No, you better be careful when you say it too. Bolshevik. The Bolsheviks are a political party, basically. They're the communists. The Bolsheviks are the communists. They want to go communist. Remember communism with Karl Marx, where everybody shares everything equally? Is that possible? Remember, we talked about this. That being said, he and his Bolsheviks overthrow the new government from the March Revolution. Okay. And then they start the Bolshevik Revolution. We also call it the Communist Revolution. What they're trying to do is do what Karl Marx said, like I said, where everybody shares everything equally. Okay. They're also trying to get rid of, I think I'm going to need my hands for this. Oh, I can't. Okay, that's what that works. They're also trying to get rid of a class system. They want everybody to be on the same level, be even. Karl Marx, of course, talked about eventually getting rid of government. That's not possible. But that's where he wants to go. Okay. In order to do that, think about this for a second. You have to take everything away from the nobility. Okay. We're not just talking wealth, we're talking everything that would make someone look noble. Okay. Everybody's houses have to look the same. Everybody has to have the exact same number of stuff. What V.I. Lenin is going to do, first thing he does when he takes over is he signs an armistice with Germany. He says, okay, we're out. We're out of the war. We have a new government. We're done. And they leave. Okay. Then he starts taking everybody's stuff. Some people did it willingly, some people didn't. Now think about this. Which social class is going to back him? The nobility? The upper middle class? The lower middle class? Or the peasant middle? Or the peasant class? Y'all, it's going to be the lower classes. the peasants and the lower middle class, of course. Um, think about this. If God, I teach this in class with you, and it's hard not having you to like use. If I'm nobility, okay, and I have one, two, three, four, five, six earrings. Earrings are what show who is noble and who is not. And I have six. Well, you only have one. That means I'm better than you. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of my earrings away from me and we're going to start divvying them out evenly among people so that everybody can have the same amount. Oh, okay. I got an email from school and I was like, so anyway, that's basically what he's doing is he's taking everything from people who have more and redistributing it evenly. The lower classes love this. The upper classes are gonna fight it tooth and nail. This is not an easy revolution. I mean, I'm talking about it in about 30 minutes tops, maybe. It's drama, all right? People are slaughtered. It's not pretty. He's not a sweetheart, all right? Um, but the peasants love this because what you're trying to do, like I said, is make everybody equal, all right? Um, the problem is we as human beings, we have a natural like desire to compete. We have a natural desire to, well, I look better than you. Well, I have more earrings than you. Well, mine are brighter, mine are bigger, mine are shinier. Are you with me? So, eh, that being said, he's redistributing stuff. The government is also going to start being more responsible for like food. Um, if you have a hot dog stand, I use this example when we talked about capitalism a week or whatever ago. If you have a hot dog stand, you can't sell more hot dogs than the hot dog stand down the road because that's competition. So the government makes sure that you only have 40 hot dogs total that you can sell. Like they're regulating you that way. You can only make a certain amount of money. What communism originally wanted to do was get rid of classes and everybody share everything equally. But again, I told you, communism in practice is not going to look like that. Communism in practice is going to look like government controls everything. And anybody who gripes about it is silenced real quick. Whether they're silenced by just straight up killing someone like Joseph Stalin is going to do, or whether they silence you by, I don't know, a mysterious disappearance, or whether they silence you with censorship, where they like y'all know in China, like they can't see everything on the internet like we can. However they choose to silence you, they're going to silence you. So that's what VI Lenin is in the process of doing. Okay. Um, there will be some issues with it. Lenin isn't going to be able to go total communistic where the government literally owns everything. First of all, Russia's too big. He can't, even with the secret police, he can't control, by the way. I wish, like right now in class, I would ask you, do the secret police want to reveal themselves? Just know if you're sitting at home and you're secret police and you never revealed yourself, you got away with it. Good job. Those of you who aren't secret police, sucks to be you. Okay, that being said, even with secret police, you can't control in a country as big as Russia every single business. So he is going to allow some tiny little competition, but not a lot. Okay. Um, basically, you have total control. All right. But again, the people, like especially the poor people, they love him. They think he's just absolutely amazing. Well, of course he dies. Yeah. Guys, that's not a painting. That's that's him. You could still go to Russia today, 2020, and see that. It's not fake. It's not a, what's that thing called? Wax statue. Here we go. It's not a wax statue. That is V.I. Lenin. He didn't decompose? What? Y'all, he's being pumped with like all kinds of stuff, like formaldehyde and all kinds of stuff to keep him all like juicy and squishy looking. It's kind of gross, but it's like a modern day mummy. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess, but it's kind of gross at the same time. And, like you can go see him here. There he is. He's in here, right in the red square in Moscow, right here. That is really truly him. I swear, y'all, it is not a wax thing. It's what it looks like, but it's not. Look, isn't that crazy? I keep getting emails from school. Oh, okay. They're talking to us about grades. So anyway, like you can go see his like dead body that's all pumped full of formaldehyde and stuff. It's just, I don't know. I think it's weird. Interesting, but weird. So V.I. Lenin dies. Yeah? Dang. I was going to try and do this all in one video, and I can't. We're already at 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with Joseph Stalin, even though we're jumping ahead a little bit to the 1930s, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay. It just makes more sense to go ahead and deal with Stalin now, and then you'll know who he is when we're talking about him in World War World War II. So I'll be right back. Let me separate these videos. Bye.